This video will demonstrate note-taking in Kurzweil 3000. Although there are a variety of ways to take notes using Kurzweil 3000, this video will focus on column notes. There are also a number of effective note-taking strategies outlined in the research, but one of the most cited is the Cornell method of taking notes. The Cornell method of note-taking is a systematic format for condensing and organizing notes. It starts during the lecture with note-taking during class when students attend and paraphrase as they listen to the lecture. Following the lecture, they use the other two portions of the page. They ask questions that might be asked during a quiz or an exam based on the main ideas in the note-taking, and they summarize each page in a couple of lines. In the desk app and the web app, we're able to use column notes. So I'm going to click on Open Column Notes, open a new notes file, and here you'll see that it looks a little different than the Cornell page setup, but Cornell page setup is often used because it's so easy to prepare, and it's no different when you're using a 3-column note in Kurzweil. So here we're able to change the headings, and so this will be our question. The second column will be our notes during class, and the third column will be our summary. Now we can make this the full height, and we can change the width of these as well. Students can just use the regular keyboard in order to enter their notes during class. We're going to use the topic of emergent writing today. That might be a topic for an early childhood educator course. So students can just use the regular keyboard and mouse to enter. Students can also use word prediction in order to help them with their writing. So here I'll click on word prediction. I'm typing the word developed and I want some help with it. So there it is in my word prediction, and I just double click in order to type it. Alphabetic. So there's alphabetical, which I can take and just modify. You'll notice also that it outlines different spellings for me. I can toggle that off. And I also have speech recognition available to me. So I'm going to turn on my speech-to-text icon, start to become more conventional. Now in the Cornell method, students are advised to leave lines between their writing when they're writing by hand so that they can add to it after class. But when you're using a keyboard and mouse in column notes, you can simply right-click and insert a new row. To use speech-to-text in order to add that, I simply click on the speech-to-text icon and then start dictating. Following scribbling, children write lines of indistinguishable text, and then that starts to become more distinguishable strings of letters. So students can use the keyboard and mouse and word prediction during a class, and then when they're adding to their note after class, they could use speech-to-text in addition to that. When students close their note, they'll be cued to save it. And we'll call this emergent writing. And you'll notice that it's a .K3C, C for column notes, format. When students get home and they want to add to that note and do the questions and the summary, they click on Open Column Notes, open an existing note, and open their note. Here, when they get home, of course, their summary can be done using speech-to-text, word prediction, or simply the keyboard and mouse. So they would write their summary based on the notes, which would be much fuller than what we've done here. And then they would pose questions. And they would add questions that they think might be asked based on the notes, which would be much more extensive than this, and the summary that they write. And then they can actually use this note in order to study for an exam or a quiz. And the way that they could do that is to right-click on the summary column and hide that third column and see if they can quickly summarize that. But in addition to that, they can cover the second column as well, read the questions, see if they can recall the information as well as their thoughts that were written in the summary, and then uncover those columns to see how they did.